Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Pizzadilla. That's right, I'm watching TV the other day, and I see a commercial for something called a papadilla. And at first I thought, wow, they finally developed the technology for folding a pizza in half. And then I thought, hey, that's not a bad idea, except you have to bake a pizza first. And then I thought, or do you? And what follows is my attempt to make one of these things, just using a pan. And not to spoil the ending, but this totally worked. So with that, let's go ahead and get started by buying or making some pizza dough. And what I have here is one batch of our famous Wolfgang Puck's pizza dough that I've divided into 4 portions. And what we'll do using just enough flour so it doesn't stick is roll this out into a circle just about 1/8 of an inch thick. And one great tip for rolling out pizza dough, because it tends to be fairly elastic, while you're doing this, if it won't stay rolled out and it keeps stretching back, just stop rolling for a minute and let the dough relax, and then continue on. And you'll see that should make things a lot easier. Oh, and the other tip is, while we don't want a ton of flour worked into this, we do want to make sure we have enough under the dough, so it doesn't stick onto the table once we have this rolled all the way out. And as you can see, I just like to sort of drag it across that sprinkled flour on the table, so as to pick up just the right amount. But anyway, one way or another, we'll go ahead and roll that out nice and thin. Oh, and please be aware when you pick this up to put it in the pan, it's always going to stretch out a little more. So I will generally roll it out about 1 inch or so less than the size of my pan. Okay, so my dough is looking good. And at this point we can head to the stove to prep our pan, which means getting it nice and hot over medium-high heat. And we'll also give that a fairly generous brushing of olive oil. And you'll probably notice some little wisps of smoke coming up as I do this. That's fine since it means it's hot enough. But as soon as we place our dough in, we will immediately turn our heat down to medium, and I will tell you why in a moment. And as soon as that dough hits the hot pan, you're going to notice lots of little bubbles forming, which is great news, because not only does that mean our pizzadilla crust is going to be nice and airy and light, but also once we flip those over, those bubbles are going to kind of brown and char, and they're going to give this thing a very beautiful and highly enticing appearance. So eventually this bubbled side is going to be the outside of our pizzadilla, and that's because after cooking this for about 2 minutes, we're going to go ahead and flip it over, revealing what we'll call the smooth side. Yes, smooth except for those giant bubbles. But that's fine because as we spread over our pizza sauce, which is the next step, we'll go ahead and press any of those down. And as we do that, not only will this smooth side become actually smooth, it will also become covered with sauce. And then what we'll do once that's been administered is go ahead and transfer on the toppings of our choice, which for me is going to be some mozzarella cheese, some sweet Italian sausage, some mushrooms, and some red onions. And just like when we make regular pizza, we don't want to overdo it with the toppings. So please show a little bit of restraint, otherwise the proportions are going to be all off. And instead of a pizzadilla, you could accidentally end up with a pizzarito, which actually doesn't sound bad, but that's another video. But anyway, having said that, of course, how much is up to you. I mean, you are after all the Papa John of how much to put on. But no matter how much you use, we'll probably want to leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of dough around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. So when we fold this, it doesn't all squish out. And speaking of folding, for best results, the non-cheese ingredients should be placed just on 1/2. Oh, and the reason we turned our heat down to medium is because it's going to take a few minutes to get these toppings on, and we don't want that crust underneath charring too much by the time all our fixings have been placed down. But anyway, once that's been successfully topped, we'll go ahead and take a spatula, and we'll make a crease by pressing gently into the dough, exactly in the middle, or as close as we can get. At which point we will carefully fold this over, and then we'll evaluate. Okay, if it's beautifully brown and as crispy as we want, we can go ahead and serve it. But if we want this to grill a little more, which I do, we'll go ahead and brush that very lightly with olive oil. All right, not too much, just a light coating. And then we can go ahead and flip that over. Always, by the way, turning towards the seam side. Otherwise, we could have some molten pizza fillings falling out due to the physics of a flimsier fulcrum. And then while that side is getting a little browner, we'll go ahead and brush a little more olive oil on this side. And we will simply continue grilling this, flipping it from side to side as we see fit, until it's exactly as browned as we want. And because our dough was so thin, by the time it looks like this, it's going to be fully cooked through. And that's it. We'll go ahead and remove that from the pan and plate up. And we will cut that in half using a pizzadilla wheel. And if you don't have one, just use a regular pizza wheel. And then because I have to take pictures of this, I went ahead and served a little salad alongside, And since that was only lettuce and oil and vinegar, I decided to grate over a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano, which always makes it better. Or as a James Beard Award winner would say, elevates it. And that's it. After taking a few pictures, I grabbed a half and dug in. And I absolutely loved what I'd produced. Okay, it really did have the taste and texture of a folded over slice of pizza. Which reminds me, I could have made this look a lot more visually impressive by doubling the toppings, but I really did want to stick with the same proportions that you'd get on a pizza. And while it might not be that easy to see, especially since I keep holding this out of the frame, there really was plenty of that stuff to go around. So I'm officially designating this experiment a great success. And not just because it was a very delicious thing to eat. What this relatively fast and easy procedure allows you to do is make a single portion of what's very, very close to pizza in a pan on top of the stove in just a few minutes without ever having to turn on the oven. And by the way, if you do a search for Pizzadilla, you don't really see this. Right? What you see instead is an actual quesadilla made with flour tortillas, which is then topped with sauce and cheese and whatever to make a pizza, which I'm sure is lovely, but that's actually a quesadilla pizza and not a true pizzadilla like this. And of course, if you'd like to argue about that, I'm on Twitter. But in the meantime, let me just finish by saying, I really do hope you give this a try soon. So please follow the links below for the ingredient amounts, a printable written recipe, and much more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.